Alright. Here's another battle on Shogun 2, but this one is me playing Fall of Samurai. So, what happened here is my ally set up on my right flank, I set up on the left side, and I have a Fall of Samurai opponent facing me directly, and another base game on the other side facing my opponent, or my ally. Now, I went off with 2 sharpshooters, 2 red bears, or actually 3 red bears, one of these is a veteran, and my infantry de marine. I also have my 4 Yari key, 2 saber cavalry, and these 2 revolver cavalry which are moving here. Now, I quickly spotted that over here on this side, my opponent is moving 4 Yari Cav and his general. You can see him right here, this little guy. Now, what I think he wanted to do was move them over this side, but I guess he didn't realize that wasn't actually possible, so he was forced to move units through this hill. Now, in the meantime, I'm moving my Yari Cav to capture this point, and my saber cavalry to capture this point. And now, oh, I missed this little bit.
The enemy has hit units, sir.
But over here, these now broken light cav had intercepted my allies' archers, but they got quickly shattered due to the reinforcing Yari that just ran them down. Now he has over here a bunch of Yari Cav that are just scoping around looking for something, and he's just moving his Yari Samurai trying to capture this point. Now at the same time, he's got these other matchlocks and Yari Samurai moving to capture this point, and it looks for the majority of this game that these 2 opponents are gonna be fighting for this point here. Now, what's interesting, to me at least, is given that my opponent couldn't really move all 4 units through this choke point, he still tries it anyway. He won't try it yet, but we'll see soon that as my opponent on this side starts trying to harass me with his bow cav, forcing my saber cavalry to run away, that my opponent starts to try getting a little cheeky over here, thinking that I'm too distracted by this. Now my ally is just fully committing to capturing this point, moving every unit he has here, and I was moving my Yari Cav to kind of support him, but they can't really do anything as these bow cav and his general just continuously run circles around my units. Now I'm over here trying to mitigate the bow damage by hiding half my unit in the forest, but it's not really working. In the meantime, I'm going to move my sharpshooters, or at least try to move them into position so that they can get some shots off with their increased range, but it doesn't seem to be working in my favor. I move my Yari Cav into this little wooded area just to avoid them getting sniped off by this bow cav avatar combo. And now I gotta move my unit back, otherwise fear that I might get shot up by these guys since I couldn't seem to get any shots off. Now here's where that little cav charge I was talking about started happening. See, he's moving these cav in, these Yari cav, my saber cav are just waiting and waiting, and now they just intercept them. Now these revolver cav are supposed to be there to support them, but for some reason they just start charging in, at which point I start macroing them, telling them to no melee. At some point, both of these units start firing, but apparently it takes them a while. You can get a little view of this. There it is. and just instantly start shattering units. Morale's dropping as they lose so many men. Look at that, shattered. But now this unit's getting busted over here. Already dropping its health points. These guys over here continuously skirmishing. Now my ally has finally started doing something. He's using his bows to harass the opponent, but not in an effective manner, honestly. These bows have way more range than this, and he's just way too close right now. Look at that. He's essentially allowing his bows to get charged right now. He didn't even try to stop that. At least these bows are somewhat protected. And now he's sending in some Yari Samurai to finish up these matchlocks. But see here, there's this one lone light cavalry unit just charging in. It's kind of dropping dead. More light cav are just gonna start coming in. And he's still not protecting his bow infantry at all. He's just letting them get charged, which is not good at all. And as we look over here, that one setup with the 2 revolver cavalry and the 1 saber just decimated, destroyed the 2 units that were facing it, which is to be expected. It's a 3v2. There's no way you can win that. But we're still stuck at a standstill with these units. They're just facing off my units, and there's no real reason for me to engage. Although I did here with my saber cav, and they got shot up by the matchlocks as a punishment for that. Now his bowmen are harassing now. Weird formation too, long columns. And his Yari over here aren't even facing the right way. His Yari Samurai. Oh, look at this charge. Boom. Murdered. Over here's another charge on my Saber Cav. My Saber Cav were actually trying to crush this Katanakachi unit and then move into the red bear or white bears over here, but they didn't actually get very much done. This unit's barely at 1/3 health, which is actually not that much. Honestly, that's like 1 full volley away from breaking and being gone from the field. But over here, even with the support of the bows, he's still charging face first into the matchlocks. On the bright side though, he has his infantry mass over here just charging straight up the hill. But that doesn't seem too great, because the opponent has a mass of samurai, bulletproof samurai, charging downhill. And here I am trying to support my ally with my own cav charge. I got my cav dead honed for these daikyo samurai. These other cav are just here to take the charge, but these guys get caught in between them. These guys are trying to hammer. These guys are breaking. I'm trying to pull them out and trying to get these guys to pull out as well. Sending them straight for their archers. And now I got my eyes on another target over here. His general. Now that I didn't actually shatter this archer unit, but it's only at 20 out of 90. Unfortunately, at the same time, it seems that these guys aren't doing too well. These cav are just now circling around, and now we can see that his ally actually sent some infantry over, and they're going to start providing support. This guy's general is sitting right here, and I'm trying very hard to take out the bow cav now that the enemy general is dead. but getting stuck in this doesn't seem too great for me. Although the opponent doesn't have that much infantry left. One Katana Kachi is charging in, doing so much damage, just like cutting down the remaining forces. It's almost like a cleanup. These white bears are just absolutely cleaning up what's left of these forces. It's uncontested. And here the Yari Cav just killed off my infantry, and now they're charging the back of the general. And his bow cav are just shooting into the general as well. Look at that. These guys are just completely mopping up what's left over of the forces. Everyone's breaking. His general's fallen. And here goes a mass rout. Everyone just dies here. Now upon seeing this, I kind of start moving my units into position to fire, to fight back at this and push over here, see if I can break these now singled out units. Since half of his army is over here and half is here, I think maybe I could try something. So I send my Yariki in, get them to smash these guys, do something before they charge. And now I gotta move these guys up, but first can keep on microing these guys, shove them into the side of these guys, make sure that they can't actually fire back on my units. And now I gotta move my general in. And I'm still hesitant of moving my revolver cav and saber cav, because these guys can still move around and possibly flank me. But at this point, that's the least of my worries, since I now see that bow cav and my whole ally force is now destroyed. There's bow cav moving to flank me. There's Yari cav over there. The enemy infantry are moving in. I have to form a defensive line, but there's nothing really here for me to defend. Or if I end up pulling out from here and just move over to these hills, then I end up forfeiting the only defensive, or well, the only objective that there is. Here I'm moving my general in, trying to shatter this unit. These guys are engaged in melee against 2 units, but thankfully my infantry, the marine, are shooting at their backs, trying to shatter them. Here Katana Kachi is coming in, trying to engage in melee, and it's going to get the engage. It's going to crash in, and suddenly it goes from wavering, winded, to just barely holding. Now my general is going to come in, try to hold this together, I guess. Crush these guys, make sure they can't fire. But the bow cav are moving, and they're trying to snipe off my revolver cav. And I see this, and I start moving them, trying to intercept these guys, but they're way faster than my units. These guys are breaking, but my general dies in this skirmish here. There wasn't anything I could do. Now my infantry and marine are trying to see if they can pick anyone off, but it doesn't seem they can see over this hill. My sharpshooters are still trying to snipe these guys. My general's just sitting there because, well, it's only his bodyguard at this point. These revolver cav are chasing off the bow cav, trying to send them off to someplace. My saber cav have moved out of that position, and just as I suspected, he's going to try to move into position, but seeing that my units are basically surrounded at this point, he's going to try to charge from down below. And here my revolver cav strayed too far and got caught by his Yari cav. And these revolver cav are going to try to intercept this oncoming Yari cav. Meanwhile, my infantry and marine are holding the line, trying their best to basically fight while surrounded. These guys are moving back, trying to form up and fire at these guys. Right now, my infantry, the marine, are gonna get shot in the flank because there's honestly nothing that can cover them at this point. Either get shot from this end, or charged from this end, or shot from this end. Here, my saber cav and my revolver cav just break under the force of these Yariki, and the general is still alive. But I'm pretty sure at some point my sharpshooters just pick him off. Not that it actually wins me the battle, because they have just way too much morale, too many men at this point. Look at that. These men just keep getting shot off their horses. Here's his general just sitting there, watching as his men just get shot off. But I'm getting collapsed upon. All my units are just getting charged right now. My infantry and marine get charged by a whole unit of Yarikachi and just instantly break. And now my sharpshooters break. And the general actually breaks as well, but he doesn't die. And there he goes, sighing off. And at this point, the battle's just over. Overall, I got a pretty decent amount of kills, and compared to my ally, more than him. But our opponent, or at least the base player, got way more kills. He managed to completely destroy my opponent's force, and then some. So the unit statistics, yeah, my infantry, the marine, got only 200 some kills. My revolver cav got 100 kills. That was mostly from decimating the Yari cav. These red bears got some kills, and so did these. But otherwise not too effective. Most of the kills the base opponent got were using his cav. Actually, his Nodachi were pretty good, 200, almost as much as my infantry, the marine.